Welcome to the ArmaniTalks podcast. I'm your host, ArmaniTalks. In this podcast, I'm helping you level up your 5 soft skills: public speaking, storytelling, social dynamics, emotional intelligence, and creativity. 5 soft skills for you to change your life forever and skyrocket your confidence along the way. In today's episode, we're entering the world of social skills, and we're going to be talking about a couple of reasons why your question ended up offending the other person. Questions are a great way in order to get to know someone. It showcases presence on your end. It showcases curiosity and much more. Questions are a great way to showcase your charisma. But at times, your questions end up pissing someone off. And there's traditionally 3 reasons why. Number 1 is because they keep hearing that same question. Let's say someone is 7 foot tall and they consistently get asked the question, well, what's the weather like up there? Or how tall are you? The first couple of times, it's fine to be asked that. But when you are consistently being asked that from strangers who don't know each other, it feels as though that in itself is your only identity to answer that question. So that's why someone got offended by what you asked. Chances are they keep hearing it. Another reason that someone gets offended by a question is because this question reminds them of a past trauma or a current inadequacy. So let's say you go up to a person and you're like, hey, why are you still single? This is a question that a lot of people ask on dates, and they don't mean it in a negative way. They mean it in a great way. They're like, how is someone like you single? Because you're such a catch. But think about it. This reminds the other person of a current inadequacy of theirs, which they believe that they should be in a relationship, but they're not. And that question puts a magnifying glass on the fact that they're single. And chances are it's because of their fault. You see? So this is another reason that someone does not like a question. It reminds them of a past trauma or a current inadequacy. And the third reason that someone doesn't like the question is because they don't view it as a question at all. Instead, they view it as bait. Bait is seen as a question, and by the way, I'm doing air quotes, that are meant to make someone look foolish. So let's say you meet a Scientologist for the first time and you're like, hey, do you guys really worship aliens? Because that's the general perception that a lot of people have of Scientologists ever since the infamous South Park episode came out. This Scientologist hears that question and they think that you're trying to insult them. They think you're trying to bait them into looking like a fool. And that's another reason that people get offended. So recap, people get offended by questions because number 1, they keep hearing it. Number 2, the question reminds them of a past trauma or current inadequacy. And number 3, it's because they don't view your question as a question. They view it as a bait. Overall, steer clear whenever you see some people making sudden changes in body language. They were comfortable before, but now they're making sharp turns. They're touching their neck a lot, and they're abruptly trying to change the subject. Chances are that you have the right intention with your question, but unfortunately, you're creating some sort of reaction in them that is best if you're capable of adjusting and adapting like the social chameleon that you are. So if you enjoyed today's talk and you want to learn more about social skills, be sure to check out my book, Charisma King. Within this book, you will learn more about how to ask better questions, how to listen attentively, how to make small talk, plus plenty of other topics. Check out the Charisma King in the link in the description box, or go on ArmaniTalks.com and grab your copy today. Thank you very much for joining the Armani Talks podcast, and I'll catch you next time.